Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Wow. Joel Embiid hit the game-winning three with .9 seconds to go on the clock in overtime to seal the win and take a 3-0 lead in the series versus the Toronto Raptors. Canada, you could hear a pin drop. I'm in shock. I was certain that game was going to double overtime. I was sitting here just saying, another 5 minutes is going to be interesting. But Doc Rivers with the clutch timeout as that final play was falling apart, he called the timeout in time. And I said, wow, if this timeout, let's say they can run something, because what I didn't see when they went to commercial was what they had reset the clock to. And when they came back and I saw 2 seconds on there, I'm like, uh-oh. And Joel Embiid caught that ball in his pocket. And, of course, Nick Nurse, you got to have tall people on the floor in situations like that. Tallest person that rotated to that man, I think, was Pascal Siakam. No. You needed different rotations on the floor for that particular contest. Joel Embiid caught that ball, and he's so tall. You know what I mean? Turned around and just let it fly. And that was a rhythm shot for him. You could tell he hits that shot at least 50 times a day. Spectacular win by who I think probably should get the MVP at this point. Obviously, the votes are already in, but I think he was the guy who sustained his greatness the longest throughout the entire season. And Jokic you can make a strong case for Jokic and Giannis. But I do believe that Embiid, the only guy who doesn't have it between the three of them. I think that he'll ultimately be the one that gets it this year. All three are deserving, but tonight he gets the victory in Toronto. I'm pretty certain this seals the deal for the Raptors. I just feel like injuries hit them. You couldn't win this series without Scotty. Scotty is extremely important to what they do on both ends of the floor, but particularly defensively. And then basically you can consider they had Trent knocked out as well in the last game, even though he was great tonight. And you could basically say Fred VanVleet's been missing because I don't know what the hell's going on with him. You look at his numbers, it's like, bro, what happened to you? I would imagine the Philadelphia defense has done a fantastic job on him. But I haven't been watching this series as closely as I wish I could have. This one, obviously I was just watching the Brooklyn game just like everybody else, and they just so happened to schedule this game midway through the Brooklyn game, which I thought was just, the schedule makers didn't do the greatest job this year in terms of, having a feel for what games people really wanted to see and just making sure that they were available to watch them. This first round have some fantastic matchups, and we should be able to see all of them, like literally all of them this year. I know sometimes you get duds, every year there's a dud or two. Maybe that's the Utah-Dallas matchup, I guess. But the rest of the matchups, like you consider the Minnesota-Memphis matchup, that is huge drawability. Like I think the country wants to see that. And I just think the NBA dropped the ball as it pertains to making sure that these teams were available on national television and on time for everybody to see in its entirety. So, yeah, it wasn't – I didn't miss the Philadelphia-Toronto game because I wanted to, put it like that. I missed it because I was watching more NBA basketball action. And that's the NBA's fault. So I want them to fix that. Yeah, so that's what happened. I missed it. But it's obvious to me that Philadelphia did just enough to keep it close enough on the road. Tyrese Maxey didn't continue playing the way that he did, but he gave them some good points. Tobias Harris has been fantastic from what I saw on both ends of the floor, really. And he's been the mainstay for them besides Joel Embiid. He's been just consistent throughout this entire series as well. Really, everybody has, except for James Harden, I guess, who hasn't necessarily played this greatest series, but the team has carried him because, they're functioned in such a way where they've played without him all season long. So, anything that he gives them is icing on the cake, and I think people are going to start realizing that very soon. There's a lot of people saying, it's a lot of pressure on James Harden. Nope. If you look up and look at the Philadelphia 76ers, he's actually just a guy in the starting lineup, to be completely honest with you. Their team is centered around Joel Embiid And the number 2 option on that team appears to be Tyrese Maxey. And the third option on the team appears to be Tobias Harris. And James Harden can facilitate and get his shots in between there. But everything goes through Joel, and I think they got it right. As long as they keep running the way they do, the way they are, I think they have a great shot at getting to the finals, man. I really do. I think they got a great shot at getting to the finals. There are some tough teams out there. Don't get it twisted. I don't mean I've lacked faith in some of the other teams that are in the Eastern Conference, but I just don't see any Joel Embiids on any of these really, really good teams. You know, they have to deal with this guy, and you know, I think that's where Philly's gonna have the edge, so long as they continue to get a lot out of the players that they're getting a lot out of. You know, I've looked up and I've seen nothing but good things out of a guy like George Niang. You don't expect to see George Niang have a huge impact on a series like this, but he has. With the minutes that he's been given, he's been doing great. You know, so that's the type of stuff that it's the playoffs, man. You know, you got to be ready for that. But all in all, yeah, Toronto. Bye-bye, you guys. I don't know what's going on with Fred VanVleet. I don't know. That's going to be a big question for me. I can't say I have any answers, but I was expecting him, as I've said, to get his pound of flesh, and all I've seen through the stats is him just struggling throughout the entire series. So I'm just clueless, and I will do a little homework and find out what's going on there. Is it a Trae Young, KD type of situation where the defense is just scheming him? Is he cold? Is he fighting through injury? I don't know. But Toronto cannot be successful if he's struggling. This is not going to happen. And I'll tell you this, even if Scotty was out there, I don't know that they would win these games. The games that they've been in, I don't know that Scotty gets them the victory in these games. Now, granted, Scotty's capable of playing fantastic. He can get you double-digit rebounds, double-digit assists, and double-digit points. And he makes a huge impact on defense. But the problems that Toronto is having, seems to me, extend further than just what he can provide. They got to shoot the ball better. Simple as that. They have got to shoot the ball better. And yeah, I don't think they have an answer for Joel Embiid. Obviously, they don't have that person on roster to really give them a chance. So what they would need to do is just attack him with their multiple forwards. And with those guys not being at their best, it's tough. You know, this is really tough. So if they were at their if they were at full strength, I think they'd be able to kick their way back into this series. But at this point, being down 0-3, you know, they're out of here. That's not even, you know, very few teams in sports history have come back from 0-3. It has been done, but very, very few times across all American sports. So if you're expecting that to happen right here, I would encourage you not to put your money on that. That's what I will say. So that's what it is, man. Chicago, Milwaukee's up next. Gonna go ahead and check that out and eat some dinner. And I thank you all for watching. PDL 44. I'm out.